Hello there, this is Anand from Team Amoeboids. Welcome to the demonstration of our recently launched automated release notes feature called as Release Pages. I'm sure some of you have already looked at the Release Pages tab available within the Cloud app. In the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of how to set up a release page and how to automate the release notes generation, or rather release notes posting onto that release page. Now, before I go into the configuration part, let me show you what the release page looks like, right? So this is a release page that we have created, of course, based on automated release notes itself. And you'd see that it has the domain of release.page. So the paid automated release notes app has uses this domain release.page, whereas the free version uses the domain release.directory. So we'll just keep this to release.page here, and I'll quickly show you what that looks like. Now, this is a release page, meaning all of the releases that have happened within the app, and specifically for the free version of the automated release notes app, have been listed here. Now, you might have already guessed by now, this information is obviously coming out of your Jira instance. But at the end of the day, similar to how you configure templates of different types within ARN, for example, email, PDF, Confluence, JSON, Markdown, you can configure these release page templates as well. Before we go into the configuration, I'll quickly bring back your attention to the same. Here, you're able to configure the logo that you want, the title for your release page, the subtitle, and the rest of the information is created automatically once you set up your rules. Now let's go into the actual configuration part, and we'll actually create a release page, and I'll show you how that looks like and how you are going to populate the data inside of that release pages. Now, when I navigate to the automated release notes screen, you would see the tab release pages and widgets. The first table is about release pages. And by the way, this page that I'm showing you, right, it's basically coming out of this configuration. So we'll go ahead and create a new page. We will call it automated release notes. Keep track of what's new in the automated release notes cloud version. So I've added the description, which will become subtitle on that page. I'll also add a logo. You'll already see a logo here. I'll use the logo. Logo is uploaded, and I'll change this to, let's say, ARN Cloud. Now you should notice this, that as soon as I change the path, the actual end URL is changing for the release page. So the way this works is, you have essentially three parts of this URL. One is your subdomain, which is Amoeboids. Then you have domain, which is release.page. And then you have the path, which is right now set to ARN Cloud. So the way this works is, for every instance, the subdomain, which is Amoeboids, is populated based on your Jira instance's URL. So for example, if your Jira instance URL is, let's say, apple.atlassian.net, then your release page URL automatically will become apple.release.page. Obviously, release.page is utilized when you are on the paid version. If you are on the free version, then that could become apple.release.directory. And then path is how you identify the actual release page. In this case, I've added this as ARN Cloud. In the other case, If you notice, this is ARN Cloud free. So you can create as many release pages as you want and utilize meaningful nomenclature while defining the path. Now let's go ahead and configure the release page layout, right? So right now there is a single template that we are using, and that template is this one. Obviously now we are going to expand the set of templates that are available within the app, but for now I'm going to show you how you work with this single template that you have. Now, I don't want any version description because we don't utilize that field as extensively as we would like. So we don't want any information available as subtitle for the release. Now, let me go back and show you this again. This automated release notes free is getting populated from your name of the release page. This description is going to get populated as subtitles similar to this one, and then you have these different releases. This one is your release title. If we use the release subtitle, then that would be populated based on this field. Now you would notice that we are able to use variables, which makes it very easy to provide, or rather to populate, relevant information for releases. Now, for every issue, the current template supports three fields: field 1, field 2, field 3. You would notice this is the field 1, this is the field 2, and this is the field 3. Or I might be wrong about the locations of these fields. We can give it a try and we'll understand which one is field 1, which one is field 2, and which one is field 3. But you'll get the sense of it that essentially these are three different data points that are pulled out for every Jira issue. Now let's do one thing. I want summary for public release notes, which is our custom field, to be displayed in field 1. I want description for public release notes as the field 2, and then issue type as field 3. Obviously we have used the custom fields here because what we do is we keep our processes simple by introducing custom fields. Typically, the default attributes that are populated within Jira issues are not as good as they should be for a customer facing discussion. That's why we choose to have different custom fields on Jira issues which are populated by our technical writers, and we even tweak our workflow so that specific items, specific Jira issues have these public release notes, description for public release notes information properly populated by the technical writers. I'll create a separate video regarding the workflow that you can create in order to streamline the technical writing process. But for the scope of this discussion, we'll just limit to the field selection. So like I said, you can choose any fields that you want. You just have to take care that you're utilizing the right sized field. So for example, let's say if this is field 3, I'm assuming that is a field 3. If you end up using summary in field 3, then that would definitely not look good because the space allocated to that field 3 is less compared to the other two fields. So you have to take care of that. For example, you can utilize issue color, you can utilize priority, severity, component, any fields that are sort of that are going to have smaller values inside of them as field 3. Now we have populated the issue details. Let's go on. Let's not worry about the header background color yet. Let's think about the JQL. What should be our JQL? Now what we do is we have this. Let me do one thing. Let me do an advanced issue search and I'll populate okay, now that we are searching, yeah, I was trying to get the JQL. Now first thing that we are going to need is the fields that are dependent, or rather that determine which issues should go into the release notes. You can imagine not all of the issues should be displayed on the release page, because right now we are creating that for the actual end users of our products. So let's say project equal to AR, and what was the field name? Let me go back. The field name is summary for public release notes. Visible. Let me open an issue. Strange. JQL does not seem to work, huh? Anyway, let's go back to this project. Maybe I forgot the name of that field, but we'll figure that out in a moment. So for example, if I were to look at, let's say this one, let's see if the fields do show up in there. Right, so include in public release notes is the field that we are looking for, and it should be yes for the issues that we want to be populated within the release page. Include is the word. Sorry about the fiasco there. I'll go back and I'll search with the relevant keyword. So what it was, include in public release notes is equal to yes. So show me only those issues that are supposed to be included in the public release notes. Now I'll copy this and I'll put that up, or rather I'll append that to the JQL of this page. Now the JQL is validated. Let's click on save. Before we actually create anything, let's go to this page and see what it shows. Right, so we display a fairly raw, no data available message as of today, which will definitely improve in the upcoming release. But you'll see the page is now created, although there is no data. Now let's start looking into populating the data. This is the name of the release page. Remember that. We'll go to the rules. We'll create a manual rule, ARN release page. Save, then add release page action, add to ARN cloud release page, and then choose your release page. Now I've done that. Let me go back to the rules. This one. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to pick one of the versions that are relevant with it. So let's look at, so I already have a page open where I can see all the releases that have happened. And again, even this page is created utilizing ARN and Confluence integration. But let's not worry about that now. So we are going to start from August of 10th. So let's do one thing. Let's search for 10th of August 2020. Alright, let's click on OK. Now, similar to how it works for other templates, you'll be able to see everything that happens within logs, and additionally for release pages, you'll be able to see these releases, what we call as releases. Hold on a second while the rule is actually executed in the backend. This is still from 4th of December, so the current one is not yet populated. I'll continue to refresh the page. So this one is now in progress. 10th of August, that's the one we were trying. And you'll also notice now there is one release available here. Now if I were to go here and refresh the page, you'll see the data is populated. So in fact, I've made a mistake. This is not field 3, because if we go back to our release page, you'll notice we had set up field 3 as issue type, and that field 3 is actually here. This is field 2. So this is not looking good. Now what we have to do is, if you go back and come to the release page, you would notice you cannot modify the fields once the release page contains the data. Obviously, once this data is created, system is not going to let you modify these attributes. So what you can do is go to the release that was created, delete it, go back to the release page that you are working on. You'll notice this has become 0 releases, and now I'll switch the locations. This should be issue type and this should be description, right? Click on save. Okay, you're back in the game now. Go to the rules, ARN3 release page. We were searching for what? 10th of August 2020. Click on OK. If you go back to the release listing, you'll notice 0 because I had deleted that one entry that was created. If you go back to the logs, you'll still see the one that we created a couple of minutes ago. We are going to wait for a couple of more minutes, and in the meanwhile, if we refresh, you'll notice no data available. So the entry that we deleted is deleted from the release page as well. We'll see if the rule is executed yet. Okay, we see 4:19, that's current time, and if we go back to the releases, there are no entries. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, I think we executed the wrong one. It just went into the 7th, rather the free version. So definitely we don't want that. We're going to delete it. Let's go back to the rules. Do it right. It should be ARN release page, not the free version. 10th of August 2020. Okay. Again, my bad. I should have looked at the name of the rule. It was for free release page. We don't need that. We want the ARN release page to be populated. If we go back here, still 0 releases, but I'm sure within the next couple of minutes we are going to see successful execution for ARN release page. See, right there you have 1 releases. Now go to the release page, refresh the page, and you'll notice this information is now populated. Now there is not much data as of yet, so let's do one thing. Let's execute a few more times. Let's insert some more data. We started with 10th of August. Next release was on 21st of August. So let's execute the same rule for 21st of August 2020. Click on OK. So we'll go on and create a few more entries so that the page looks nicely formatted and consumable. And by the way, in the meanwhile, let me show you. When you go to the releases, you'll see all the listings that have happened when they were created. When you click on view, what data was inserted, you'll be able to see that. As of today, we only allow you to see the data. Editing of the data will be possible down the line, so that you don't have to delete the entries right away. You can just modify the entries from the pop-up itself. Now, I think the rule must have been executed by now. ARN release page 21st of August. Good. Let's go back, refresh the page, and you'll notice on top of this 21st August release is created. Let's create one more and then we'll stop. So what was the other one that we wanted to create? There is 3rd of September. Let's search for 3rd of September. Click on OK. Now, obviously you don't want to do these rule executions once in a while. It should happen every time there is a release, because this page is meant to be your customer's touch point with regards to any updates that are happening to your application, to your software. So every time there is a release, make sure that you're updating the release page via execution of a relevant rule. Obviously, the rule does not necessarily have to be manually executed. You can trigger it based on version release or any other factors, but that's the way to keep your data populated, to keep your change log, to keep your release notes always up to date. I hope this was helpful for you. We have just recently launched the release page feature, so there are a number of things that we are improving. We are adding the uh, different types of templates to release pages. We are making it possible to subscribe to release pages from these pages for your end users, and whenever there is a new release, the subscribers are going to receive an automated notification. But yes, if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us via our support portal and we'll be happy to help you out. Thank you.